Hello, everybody. Today we are going to do a complete analysis of the Hindu newspaper for August 15, 2025. We are going to learn about certain current affairs for today, followed by some prelim-oriented questions with their answers. We'll also observe some mains-oriented questions based on August 15, 2025. I will be explaining certain topics in briefs along with the answer models for those questions. So let's begin with the current affairs for August 15, 2025. Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivered one of his longest speeches in over a decade, outlining a vision for Vikasit Bharat, developed India by 2047. So, on the occasion of Independence Day, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave one of his longest speeches. He spoke about his dream for Vikasit Bharat, a developed India, by 2047. So, this will be the year when India will celebrate its 100 years of independence. He also announced the next generation GST reforms. These reforms will help to make the tax system smoother and more modern. He spoke about the Pradhan Mantri Viksit Bharat Rozgar Yojana, a rupee 1 lakh crore system to help youth get jobs, a push for self-reliance in important sectors like semiconductors, that is computer chips, followed by EVs, that is electric vehicles, fertilizers and jet engines. So India can make these things on its own and not depend on imports. He also reaffirmed commitment to protect farmers, pledging to stand like a wall for their interest amid rising US tariffs on Indian goods. This means that he promised strong support to the farmers, saying that the government will stand like a wall to protect their interests, especially now because the US has increased tariffs, that is, import taxes, on some of the Indian goods, which can affect farm exports. So let's learn about the Pradhan Mantri Vikasit Bharat Rozgar Yojana. So what is this yojana? What are the benefits of this scheme? So it is written over here that it is a major job support scheme introduced on Independence Day 2025 with nearly 1 lakh crore allocated to help young people and employers. It aims to create 3.5 crore new jobs, including 1.92 crore for first-time job seekers. Now, what does this mean? This is a big government job program which started on 15th of August 2025, that is our Independence Day. So the government has kept aside almost 1 lakh crore rupees to run this yojana. So the aim of this yojana is to create 3.5 crore new jobs in the country. Out of these, 1.92 crore jobs will be for people who are working for the very first time. What is the timeline? The launch date is 1st of August 2025 and the duration is that it will run until 31st July 2027. So basically this will run for 2 years. What are the goals and objectives of this yojana? This yojana will encourage young employment. So this will give young people more chances to get the jobs, especially if they are working for the first time. Second, provide financial help to youth starting their careers and hiring support to employers. That is, it will help companies hire more employees by sharing part of the cost with the government. Promote inclusive economic growth, financial stability, and formalization of jobs, specifically support in manufacturing sectors and MSMEs. So, this will encourage formal jobs instead of only informal daily wage work. So that is one of the main aim of this scheme. So what are the key components? This yojana is divided in the form of a two-part incentive system. So let's understand the first part. The first part is for first-time private sector workers. So young professionals are getting their first private sector job in an EPFO registered company, earning up to 1 lakh per month. They are eligible for this yojana. What does this mean? That is, if you're getting your first ever private sector job in the company that is registered with EPFO, that is Employers Provident Fund Organization, you can apply for this yojana. Your monthly salary should be rupees 1 lakh or less. The government will give you rupees 1500 in total, but this amount will be not given in once. This will be broken into various parts. So the first payment after you work for 6 months without a break, and the second payment after you work for 1 year and finish a basic money management course, that is a financial literacy course. So some part of this 15,000 will be kept in locker savings so that you can learn the importance of saving money. Now let's understand the part B. So the part B is for the employers. Like what is there in for the employers who are hiring a new staff? So let us understand from their perspective. So if a company hires more people who are earning rupees 1 lakh or less per month, the government will reward them. They can get rupees 300 per new employees per month for 2 years. If it's a manufacturing company, the reward will continue for third and fourth years too. What is the hiring criteria? The minimum hiring criteria is that companies with less than 50 workers must hire at least 2 new people. Companies with 50 or more workers must hire at least 5 new people. The new employees must stay in their job for at least 6 months of service. Who will manage this Yojana? So, this will be managed by the Ministry of Labor and Employment. The actual work will be handled by the Employers Provident Fund organization. So, how are payments made? For employees, the payments, the rupees 1500 is sent directly to the bank account using the Aadhaar based payment system. And for employers, the incentives are sent directly to their PAN linked bank accounts. Speaking with respect to the Independence Day, we celebrated our 79th Independence Day on 15th of August 2025. The Red Fort ceremony was themed around Operation Sindoor, symbolizing India's strategic defense posture following the Pahalgam terror attack. So, about Operation Sindoor, we'll be learning in detail in the upcoming slides. The third highlight is about the National Sports Governance Act passed by the Lok Sabha. On 11th of August 2025, the Lok Sabha passed the National Sports Governance Act. This law is meant to make sure sports federations in India are run in fair, ethical, and transparent way. So it sets rules for governance, how they are managed, what are the morals, what are the standards, and how disputes will be resolved. It also aligns India's sports system with Olympics and Paralympic rules. So Indian sport bodies match international standards. Now this is a very great initiative here. Now let's come to the second topic, that is the prelim oriented questions. Our first practice question for today is with reference to the Pradhan Mantri Vikasit Bharat Rozgar Yojana recently announced. Consider the following statement. First statement, it aims to generate employment opportunities in sectors such as semiconductors, electric vehicles, and jet engine. Yes, it does. Second statement, it will be financed primarily through foreign development assistance. Not heard about it right now. I don't think so. This is the right one. The third one is that it has been launched with a goal of contributing to India's vision of becoming a developed nation by 2047. Yes, 2047 will be our 100 years of independence. So, yeah, we were right about it. The option is 1 and 3. So, here the answer is option B, that is 1 and 3 only. Next, the National Sports Government Act 2025 recently passed by Lok Sabha provides which of the following? Establishment of a uniform code of ethics for sports federation, alignment of Indian sports governance standards with the Olympic Charter, mandatory reservation of 33% post for women in National Sports Federation. So yeah, the first and second part are the correct. But there is no mandatory reservation clause mentioned in the Act as per the third point. Hence, the answer is option A, 1 and 2 only. Third question is, which of the following products are among the major Indian exports to the United States that may be affected by increased US tariffs? First is rice, second is gems and jewelry, third is defense equipment, fourth is spices. So rice, yes, it's a key Indian agri export. Second is gems and jewelry, yes. Third is defense equipment. It is not a major export to US. Yes, and fourth one, spices, definitely. So our options are, based on the option, the answer is B. That is 1, 2, and 4 only. Our fourth question, Operation Sindoor is best described as. The answer is option B, a counter-terrorism operation launched after the Pahalgam attack in Jammu and Kashmir. Let's come to the third topic, mains-oriented questions. So what are the questions from these current affairs which may appear in the mains exam? So what are the types of questions which may come for UPSC mains exam for GS paper 2, governance and international relations? The first question is, the vision of Vikasit Bharat 2047 represents a paradigm shift in the India's developmental strategy discussed in light of the schemes and reforms announced on Independence Day 2025. Next question which may come is, India's stand on protecting farmers amid rising trade protectionism reflects both domestic priorities and global challenges. Discuss. Third question, critically examine the significance of the National Sports Governance Act 2025 in promoting ethics, transparency, and professionalism in Indian sports administration. With respect to the GS papers, the economy and security, the question which may arise is evaluation on the role of symbolic operations like Operation Sindoor in shaping India's defense posture and strategic message. Next question, how can India's push for self-reliance in sectors like semiconductors, EVs, and jet engine contribute to economic security and strategic autonomy? Last question, evaluation of the role of defense, preparedness, and strategic messages in India's foreign policy with reference to recent warnings to Pakistan. Basis on these questions, I'll be explaining an answer model for a few of those 6 questions which we just shown. So let's get on to the next topic, that is mains oriented topics with answer model. So our topic for today is question number 1. The vision of Vikasit Bharat 2047 represents a paradigm shift in India's developmental strategy discussed in light of the schemes and reforms announced on Independence Day 2025. So we'll be explaining to you an entire format like how to answer for the UPSC mains exam and how to score full marks. So how will you begin? You will always begin with an introduction for the question which is given to you. Okay, so speaking with respect to the introduction, paradigm shift implies a fundamental transformation in strategy, framework, and objectives. So what does this mean? It means that a paradigm shift. So first of all, what does a paradigm shift means? So paradigm shift means changing the whole way we think and work. Not just making small adjustments, but completely changing the plan, system and goals. Vikasit Bharat 2047 envisions a developed India by the centenary of independence focused on inclusive growth, sustainability, innovation, and governance. Meaning, the Vikasit Bharat 2047, this plan dreams of making India a fully developed country by the time it completes 100 years of independence in 2047, by making sure growth benefits everyone, is environmentally friendly. This also encourages new ideas and is in run with the good governance. While the concept was already in motion, the schemes and reforms announced on Independence Day 2025 reflect a renewed ambition and tactical reorientation, signaling a shift from incremental reform to bold, mission-oriented and governance. What does this mean? The idea was already in progress, but the new schemes announced on 15th August 2025 show bigger dreams and a change in direction. That is moving away from small, step by step changes to big, goal driven plans. So previously we were working on the very small steps. You are taking small steps to change this plan into something big. And here now we have a goal driven plan across. So we will be working on it till 2047. So the vision for Vikasit Bharat, a transformative framework. So let's talk about its ambitious goals. Evolving India into a $30 trillion economy by 2047, embedding the pillars of Yuva, that is youth, Garib, poor, Mahila, that is women, and Annadata, that are farmers, under the theme Sabke Sath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Pyar. So what does this mean? The plan of this scheme is to make India's economy worth $30 to 40 trillion by 2047, with main focus in areas that is youth, poor people, women and farmers, following the motto together we all, development for all, trust for all and efforts by all. So, what is the holistic development of this Vikasit Bharat vision? So this plan covers all areas: economy, technology, education, health, roads and buildings, environmental care, and better government systems. Instead of having separate small programs for each area, the new plan joins everything together in one long-term plan aimed at clear results. So, discussing about the second part of the question, that is discussing like the schemes and reforms announced on Independence Day 2025. The various schemes are: first one is our very own Pradhan Mantri Vikasit Bharat Rozgar Yojana, which we just spoke about. So, this is a massive 1 lakh crore scheme offering rupees 15,000 per month to newly employed youth and incentives to employers, targeting 3 crore beneficiaries, formal employment and youth upliftment. So in this yojana, the government will spend this money to give rupees 15,000 per month to newly employed youth and also reward companies that hire them, aiming to benefit 3 crore people and promote proper stable jobs. Next, we have the next generation reform task. This is a special group will be set up to push big changes in governance and economy. So India can reach $10 trillion GDP by 2047, making reforms planned and continuous, just not random. Speaking about the third scheme, that is technological and energy milestone, by year end, India will make its first homegrown computer chip. 10 new nuclear power plants will be built to increase nuclear energy 10 times. India will also explore deep sea resources and expand solar, hydrogen, and water based energy. The goal is to depend less on imported fuels and be self reliant in clean energy. Diwali GST reforms. Before Diwali, the tax rate on basic items will be reduced and small business will get relief, making taxes simpler and business easier. Next is high powered demography mission. A new program will deal with population and migration issues to protect national security and social balance. Indigenous jet engine challenges. So, the Prime Minister has asked Indian scientists to design and build jet engines in India, boosting high tech manufacturing and national pride. Symbolism and strategic focus. The government honored the bravery of Operation Sindoor and stressed Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is self reliant India, to remind people of the importance of making things in India. What are the challenges and considerations? First, the implementation skill, making sure that 1 lakh crore job schemes actually reach the light of people without corruption or waste. Second is institutional capacity. The task force was work across all departments so changes are properly executed. Third is the technological readiness. That is, India must have scientists, engineers, and factories to make the chip and jet engine. Energy investment, that is, clean energy projects should be affordable and benefit everyone. Last is social inclusion. That is, youth, women, and farmers must all benefit equally. So, what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that the Vikasit Bharat 2047 it is not just a talk. The 2025 announcement show a big chance in India's approach from scattered small schemes to united, ambitious and goal-driven programs. If these are done well, India can become prosperous, fair and self-reliant by 2047. So let's begin with our second question for today, which is based on Operation Sindoor. So, second question is evaluate the role of symbolic operations like Operation Sindoor in shaping India's defense posture and strategic messaging. So, introduction symbolic military operations beyond their tactical utility hold immense value in shaping national defense narratives and international perception. One of such operations, Operation Sindoor, not only exhibited military persuasion but also conveyed potent messages of deterrence, technological maturity, and strategic intent. What does this mean now? This means that military actions are not just about fighting battles. Sometimes they send important messages to the public and the world. Operation Sindoor was one such a mission. It showed India's military skills, warned enemies not to mess with us, proved our advanced technology, and displayed our clear plan to protect the country. So let us understand background of the Operation Sindoor. Okay. So on 7th May 2025, India carried out a quick and planned attack on 9 terrorist-based bases inside Pakistan. So these bases were not just inside Pakistan but also within Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. This was in reply to the deadly Pahalgam terror attack, which killed 26 people on the 22nd of April 2025. The Army, Air Force, and Navy worked together using modern weapons like missiles and drones. They were careful not to start a big war. Speaking about the operation impact and military signal, the operation was a brief one. So, what happened here is the mission lasted only for 23 minutes, but it was a powerful one. More than 100 terrorists were killed, 6 Pakistani fighter planes were destroyed, and important enemy defense systems were damaged. Let's understand about the name and narrative of Operation. So, speaking about the name and narrative, the name Operation Sindoor was chosen to honor women, especially those who lost their husbands in the Pahalgam attack. The Sindoor is the red mark worn by married women in India, which was used as a symbol of dignity and respect for them. What is the media and ceremonial emphasis here? On 15th of August 2025, at the Red Fort on the Independence Day, the success of Operation Sindoor was was given importance and it was showcased through artwork and symbols. What are the political and religious symbolism? Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated the victory to Lord Shiva, comparing India's action to Shiva's fierce form, showing that the country can act strongly when required. Let's understand the shift in the strategic doctrine. So, India's usual approach has been to avoid attack unless it is necessary. So, Operation Sindoor showed a new style, hitting back strongly but in a controlled way, sending a clear message that India will act if attacked. Next is demonstration of technological self-reliance. What does this mean? That India uses its own home-owned weapons and systems in this operation like the Akash missiles, the Bahamas, etc. So here, what had happened, this also shows that we can defend ourselves without depending on foreign countries. And now the other nations are interested in buying these weapons from us. Unified institutional messaging. So the president said that the operation proved India is ready and strong in its own. The defense minister said it showed a new way of fighting using modern technologies, careful planning, and smart strategies. Let's understand about the strengths of Operation Sindoor. Clear warning was given to the enemies without harming civilians, boosted India's reputation for making advanced weapons, increased national pride and unity. So, what are the challenges that we faced after the Operation Sindoor? So there were no such challenges faced by us, but we should also understand that sometimes politics can take over the military meaning of such missions. Enemy might misunderstand and react aggressively. Hence, India must keep proving its technology works well in the future as well, without depending on other nations. So, what is the conclusion that is derived? That Operation Sindoor showed that a military mission can be more than just winning a fight, it can send warning, show that the world we are self reliant, and set a new way of thinking in our defense policy. It told the enemies clearly India is strong, determined, and ready to protect its people and its land. Thank you. Thank you for. So, thank you everyone. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the video.